It's been over a week since the Agents of Sabotage update came out, and there are mixed opinions all over the internet. So let's find out once and for all, is the Agents of Sabotage update good? So to find out, we're gonna go over all the new features and label them as good or bad. And by the way, we're not gonna go over all of the leak stuff and the drip feed that's coming out later. We're gonna find out by all the things that are out by this day on your screen right now. Okay, first up, obviously the new business, the garment factory. Now with Lester retiring and showing that he has more game than us, he's left the garment factory for us. Now, forgetting all of the nostalgia and all the history behind it, it's a pretty good business considering it costs 2.3 million and has no upgrades. But even though it has no upgrades, it still has a weapon workshop, personal quarters, a 10-car garage, and a special spot for your Terrorbyte, and this little basement area which lets you travel to 5 different places across the map. And at those 5 places, you can go back to your garment factory. Now, when it comes to making money, there are 2 ways. The first and the best way are the FIB files that you could find on the computer. Now, these missions are kind of similar to the salvage yard missions, and by that I mean there are like 3 setups and a finale. Each of these setups can be completed in free mode and are pretty quick to do. Like each of them are like 5 minutes. But the payment for each file is different because there are 3 that pay about 150k and 1 priority file every week. So since the update came out today, the priority file changed. So I thought it'd be like a brand new mission, but it just changed which was a priority file. Like before it was this one, and now it moved to this one. Overall, this feature is pretty good because buying a whole business for $2 million and getting all of the perks that I listed before, that's pretty good. Okay, the next feature is a new app. Now, in the cutscene, Jody takes your phone and downloads the app for the garment factory. And all this does is load the same UI as it does on the computer. It is useful because you could start setups from literally anywhere, but it also makes me wonder, why aren't there apps for other businesses? Since, I mean, they haven't done anything different on the phone compared to when you do on the computer. So why can't they just add a master control terminal to the phone, or just add every business's UIs as different apps separately? I wouldn't even mind the fact that the phone would be cluttered, because right now it just looks off because there's just one thing at the bottom. And I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if Rockstar made it so only GTA Plus members could have an app on their phone, because I mean, they could already collect money from all of their safes in one go, so I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways, this is going to be a bad feature because there should be apps for other businesses, and that should have been done a long time ago. Having an app just for this business shows that they can do it, they just don't want to. So it kind of feels like a missed opportunity. Next up, the Terrorbyte upgrades. So there are 4 new upgrades that you can get through the Bureau Tech. The first one being the collectible scanner, which for some reason is $1.3 million. Right? All it does is help you find collectibles around the map, which is completely useless because there are so many websites for this. There are videos on YouTube that show you where the collectibles are. So paying $1.3 million for this is a complete waste of money. The master control terminal is $500,000 and is the same UI as the one in the arcade, but is a lot cheaper because the one in the arcade is over $1 million. So you get to save money, and it is more accessible because you can spawn your Terrorbyte wherever you want. You can't spawn your arcade wherever you want, which obviously makes this one better. So if you don't have the one in the arcade, I would suggest buying this one because it lets you run almost all of your businesses from one place. The missile lock-on jammer. This costs $425,000 and just stops missiles from locking onto your Terrorbyte, which isn't too useful because the Terrorbyte can take up to 34 missiles, apparently. I've seen things online where people said it blows up in one hit, so I had to find out for myself. So you can see in the background my test took place, and it took a couple of missiles. I wasn't counting, I was just spamming right click, but here's how many missiles it took. So I wouldn't say that the lock-on jammer is worth it because no one's gonna be that bothered to kill you unless you did something to them. The final upgrade is silent running. This just hides your vehicle blip on the map so you can sneak around in your huge black truck, which doesn't stand out at all, don't worry. Overall, I think this isn't too useful because the Terrorbyte was released ages ago as part of the after hours update, so giving it upgrades now doesn't feel amazing, especially since most of these upgrades are kind of useless. This is the part of the video where I beg for subscribers because we're so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers and I need your help. So subscribe, like, and comment something nice if you're enjoying so far. Okay, next up, the new cars that have been added to the game. So far there are only 3. The first one being the Banshee GTS, which is just under 2 million, which I think is a very reasonable price for the best looking car that's been released in a long time. We've also got the Chavos V6 at $1.4 million, which isn't anything too special, and the Inca Jester RR Y body, coming in at $2.2 million. The main problem with this car though is apparently it has no customization at all. Like, it's so bad that you can't even take off the livery. Anyways, overall, the cars that were added so far have been good, mainly because of the Banshee GTS, but overall that they're pretty decent. Now for the police cars, we've got 5 new police cars as part of this update. The first one being the boat, which was free last week, but it probably won't be used by like anyone. And by the way, when it's not free, it's just under $4 million, which for a boat is pretty expensive. Next up, we have the Caracara Pursuit, which is just a pickup truck with sirens on it, which again is extremely overpriced because like it costs $5.3 million. Who's gonna pay that kind of money for a pickup truck? Next up, we have the Terminus Patrol, which it looks like one of those military SUVs, and again, extremely overpriced at $5 million. The cars that were added this week were the Outreach Faction, which cost $4 million, and definitely the best police car by far, the Coquette D10 Pursuit, which costs $5 million, but I'm willing to pay because just look at it. But even with the D10 coming out, this section still can't be saved because all of these other cars are so much more expensive than they have to be. So this is overall a bad feature. Finally, we have the random quality of life upgrades that you probably haven't even noticed. First up, Imani Tech got buffed because there's like 50 more cars you can do Imani Tech on, and the cars that you can add Imani Tech on got completely unvoted. So they're back in their in their own websites after being removed in the San Andreas Mercenary updates, which I still would never understand like why they removed those cars. It doesn't make any sense. You also have the option to switch with your siren options, so you could use the sirens while having no sound, which I mean, I guess it does get annoying. Body armor restocks when you start heists, which is pretty useful. I remember they had this with snacks a couple of updates ago. I forgot which one, but your snacks always replenish when you start a new mission. There's over 110 new pieces of clothes. The El Strickler gun. Now this one's a bit weird because it's just a new variant of the military rifle, which is obviously released to GTA Plus members early, but will come out next year, January. Anyways, the main reason for these being good is because of the cars. Bringing back all of the like old cars, that has to be like the highlight of this section. Also, we got Pavel. We got a business with the best character in the game again. Well, that's the end of the list, but it's currently 3-3. So I'm gonna let you guys decide. Comment what you think. If you think the update's good, if you think it's bad, if you don't really care because you're not going to use the garment factory. But with that, the video is over, and I'll see you in the next one.